Did you hear that new song I put out?
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Tight.
Yeah, man. The auto doc. Who is Dru Hush? It's a hard question to answer, right? It's a 29-year answer. I don't know, man. I think I'm just a very observant dude. And then everything I talk about is something I observed, like in a nutshell. And Dru Hush is the vessel for that expression. Like, I'm just Andrew. It's like a power you call on. It's like a alter ego. The culmination of what you see and like experience, and then you like find ways to express it in like the most direct way. And that's what like I think Hush is like my subconscious voice coming out, just kind of saying shit. I think like the overall message is just for people to like, it's for the people who like to, or who would want to slow down and kind of reflect on like the stuff they do, like why they do it, who it's for. That's kind of what I like. That's the motivation for me to do like music and stuff. Anything creative comes from that motivation of just like appreciating like the effort you put into things and what you're interested in, and hopefully someone finds like their outlet. I just want to like personify like that idea that you could have, even if you don't like have the most interesting shit to say, you can still be creative in the way you let that idea out. It may not be like the most original idea, but it's still an idea nonetheless. And I think everyone should have like a platform that they could express themselves on. I think right now mine it's just music. So you want to like be successful, anything you like dedicate time to, you want some kind of validation for it. But then there's like a weird like curse to that, because once you get a little bit of it, you want a lot more. And then if like the next thing you do doesn't get as much love or validation as like your previous thing, you start to question like if you're really good at something, or if it's worth like even giving attention to. So you get stuck in your head easily, like with anything you create.
How do you bounce back from that feeling?
Gotta bounce back from it. First you have to take it. First you have to let it, like, you have to know how you're gonna feel when that happens.
First you take it.
You have to like know how to work in that mind state. You know, it's not always gonna be fair. You're gonna think that you put a lot of effort into something, or you think that something comes easy to you, and you'll be put in a situation where you'll have to put your money where your mouth is, and then like more times than not, if you're not really if you don't believe in what you're saying or what you're doing, it's not going to show. Not because you can't do it, it's just you haven't figured out how to channel it yet, or harness that talent that I think everyone or most people have. They just don't know how to harness that drive. Like, I think it's a lot easier to give praise to someone who is not talented but really tries, and they keep on trying and they keep on persevering. It's easier to appreciate that than it is to appreciate a talented person who's just like half-assing it, and then you know they're half-assing it. You tend to get a little more critical of their product or what they're doing, because if you know that someone has talent and they're not, and you can tell that they're not really trying, or you can tell that their heart's not in it, but they're just really good at the skill. It's the same way as like if someone was faking it. It's a disappointing feeling. So you have to figure out like where you stand. Like, you have to figure out how creative you really are. You have to figure out. You have to like kind of acknowledge that you're not like the best at something you do. And you have to be willing to ask for help. And it's like, and I haven't really grasped that yet. I've always been in a way like I haven't always been able to ask for help. It's always been there, but sometimes you become protective of like your craft and your art. Holding you to an expectation. I don't think anyone's holding me to anything. I'm not obligated to anyone to entertain them, and I don't think they're expecting that from me. So I remind myself that I still have freedom to do whatever I want. And the people that are gonna like, they're either gonna like it or not. It's 50-50. And if they don't, then just, you gotta work at getting better. Like, no one's gonna get better for you. No one's gonna like stop what they're doing to help you get better until you show them like you really want it. I'm not sure. I don't have the answer on how to do that, but I think that's like the overall my overall outlook on it. It depends on what gets you down. Like what hurt, like what are you affected by? Some people just like love just making stuff, no matter how good it is or how good it's not. So you have to be easy on yourself. You can't be too hard on yourself. As long as you're honest. I think you have to be honest with yourself too. If you're just gonna gas yourself up and no one else is gassing you up for you, it looks a little ridiculous. You have to have some people that believe in you too. You have to have a team. I want everything I do to sound better, to be more creative. I just want it to be overall better than what I did last. I can't control what anyone else does. I don't want someone else's music to be my standard. I want people to be in like my journey with me, so I want them to see like what the progress has been, where I've made the improvement, where I've like what I paid attention to, and what I choose to say over on a song. There's different avenues I could take as far as maybe the style of rap that I make, but I make what I like, and it's working for me. But I could easily just say like, oh, it's not happening fast enough, so maybe it's not working. There's of course there's things I could do to make it go faster if I just reach out to certain people more often. So it's like a mixture of pride and maybe like creative energy and time. You don't always want to wait on people who have like a busy schedule. You don't want to wait on people who have a lot of work ahead of you. You kind of want people that you're collaborating with to be all about what you're doing, and that's not always realistic. So I think like the more you're willing to compromise without compromising yourself and like what you're about, it's like a perfect scenario. It's just not always practical. So I think like my approach now is just be consistent. Like no matter how many people are watching or not watching, as long as I'm putting out something consistent, I think it'll work for me, and like the people that are already listening will be happy.
Sing a song.